Something else, like this is very Triple H. Like I'm not sure if Vince McMahon would do this in the same way,
Mhm.
but a guy has gotten hot. LA Knight is incredibly popular right now, and he's now going to face Roman Reigns in the
Mhm.
main event of Crown Jewel. And I thought it was pretty interesting that LA Knight is now facing Roman so early
Mhm.
in his rise. And it actually got me thinking about some of what you were saying a couple of weeks ago about how, like, in WWE, there is this um, sort of like growth period that a
Yeah.
top babyface goes through where they win the Intercontinental title and then when
Yeah.
they beat like a former champion in a long rivalry and then they win the Royal Rumble and go on. And it's like,
Yeah.
LA Knight has gotten hot and he's going a few months later into a
Yeah.
big match against Roman, where I'm assuming he's going to lose because
That's the only thing that makes sense.
that's what happens when people wrestle Roman Reigns. So it's like, okay, well, this is an interesting,
Yeah.
like this is an interesting decision to have him go after the top heel so
Mhm.
quickly in his journey, right?
Well, it's an interesting thing, and I agree. I thought about that as well.
Mm,
And in the past, I would be like, they're trying to they're trying to steal his heat from him. They're going to have Roman destroy him in Saudi Arabia,
uh-huh.
and then be like, well, see, we tried, and that kind of thing. The other thing is that this match is so obviously not going to result in a title change
Uh-huh.
that they might as well just leave the belts at home. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
Um, that it's hard to see them doing anything other than like one of those sort of continuing to build LA Knight things where he is the baby face that's almost just got it one. It's just so close. And you're like, oh my God, it's a 1, it's a 2. And then, he gets screwed out of the title somehow. And that sympathy propels him into the next phase of being a baby face.
Yeah.
Um, that said, though, if you're still planning on doing Cody and uh, Roman at WrestleMania as a backup to the ever possible Rock and Roman,
Mhm.
um, then do you waste the time giving LA Knight that push, knowing that it's not going to result? It might result in like a Seth Rollins type thing. And then
Yeah.
conversely, do you use that to boost up the World Heavyweight title by saying, look, here's your fan favorite. He's got the title. It must be important.
Hmm.
So yeah, like there's a few ways that they can make it go. Um, but it is a little kind of like him losing in Saudi Arabia is such a foregone conclusion. It almost
Yeah.
makes it too obvious. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think WWE has done a good job in the past building up these situations where we think Roman is for sure losing now.
Mm-hmm.
They did that in the build up to WrestleMania 39 with Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn, uh, Cody Rhodes. Those are three examples where I think a lot of people felt like the title was going to change and then it didn't. But after Roman beat Cody, I think everybody kind of now knows, all right, Roman's not going to lose until at least next WrestleMania. Like it has to be a WrestleMania that he loses at now.
Yeah.
So none of his recent opponents have felt that important. Like Jey Uso against,
Mm-hmm.
it was a cool story and stuff like that. Nobody believed that Jey Uso was going to beat Roman for the title. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe some people did, but like a very small percentage, I think.
I think a lot of
Um,
people held out hope, but deep in their hearts, they knew. It's like Sami Zayn, same thing.
Yeah, yeah. But I like with Sami Zayn, I was like, maybe I 20%. I'll give him a 20% chance that they're like, we just it's the ratings have been too good. We just have to pay it off or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
but
Like, gotta shake things up, and this is how we're doing it.
but yeah, nobody's giving LA Knight a chance. And then you
Mm-hmm.
kind of wonder what happens to his momentum afterwards after he loses to Roman. And we all know it's going to happen. Like he's going to have Roman beat, and then the bloodline
Yeah.
will do something, and that's you know. And so many people in WWE have that same story of I would have been champion, but what if, right?
Yeah.
So like it just LA Knight just then joins that club. That club has a title just for them now. They're like Seth Rollins' title is, the title for people who have
Yeah.
lost to Roman already. So
It's like the
it's
everyone but Roman title.
the everyone but Roman club. It should really be silver. The title should be silver. It makes way more sense, but I can
True.
see why they wouldn't do that
Yeah.
because it wouldn't sell very well on WWE shop.com. And
Yes.
it would make it more obvious that it's not going to
That
be.
it is in fact a
Yeah,
secondary
so
title.
actually, it would be a very poor idea to
Yeah.
make it silver, but anyway.
Yeah, I the other question is, do they maybe add LA Knight to the Roman Cody situation? Or do they tell Cody once again, yeah, we'll get to finishing that story after this chapter.
Um, I don't know. I honestly don't. Like, I don't know if you can do. I mean, it depends on what happens in the finish, but like,
Yeah, because
um,
if that becomes a three-way dance, so to
yeah.
speak, then Roman can lose without taking the pin.
Uh, I don't think that they're gonna do like a triple threat at WrestleMania. I don't know, but like it'll be either Cody or LA Knight or The
Mhm.
Rock. Like I think it could be like any of those three, and somebody else could get hot, you know,
Yeah,
in the meantime. But I worry about LA Knight a little bit because Sami Zayn was the hottest wrestler in the world leading up to Elimination Chamber, and they made a lot of money for Elimination Chamber in Montreal. I'm
Mhm.
sure he was well compensated,
Yep,
but after losing to Roman, he stopped being that
important.
same level of star. And I wonder if the same thing happens to LA Knight. But it
Mhm.
didn't happen to Cody, really. Cody's still.
Yeah, but here's the difference between Cody and both those other guys: is both those
Mm,
other guys started getting over on their own, right?
mm-hmm.
And while I think that Triple H is much less prone to the "oh well, if we didn't make the star, then no one's a star" attitude,
Yeah.
Vince was still heavily involved back then. So I don't know. Like I could totally see Vince McMahon pushing a guy into a situation he knew he wouldn't come out of as strong
Oh, yeah.
in order
No.
to avoid just having to say to him, "We want to do this."
Yeah.
But I
Well,
don't think
Vince,
Triple H does that. So to have LA
yeah.
Knight in a similar spot is a little trickier in terms of trying to figure out the thought process.
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't think they know who is going to face Roman at WrestleMania.
Mm.
And when I say like, yeah, I'm assuming it's the top baby face that is going to take on Roman at WrestleMania. So that's like the main character of your story. That's your
Mm-hmm.
that's your hero, right? Who is it in WWE right now? It's weird. Like we don't really know who the top baby face is. Maybe it's Cody, maybe it's LA Knight, maybe The Rock's coming back. Um, but yeah, it's a tough time to be a babyface in WWE right
Mm-hmm.
now because nobody's beaten Roman Reigns in 2 years. So, that
And it's
makes
the
it
same with
pretty
Gunther.
tough. Yeah, with
With
Gunther,
Gunther,
yeah.
a heel champion who's been for what, like 500 days now,
Mhm.
something like
But the
that.
but the
So
thing is
that
with
if you,
Gunther, if you're a top babyface and you're on your way up, you can
yeah,
sidestep Gunther. Like he doesn't have to be on your way to the world
yeah,
title. But
yeah,
if you're a top babyface and the fans are all behind you, like eventually it's either does this guy go for the world title?
yeah,
But in WWE right now, if no matter how hot somebody gets, they're going to lose to Roman. So, it's
yeah.
tricky. Yeah.
I was reading that there hasn't been a men's singles title like top three title change in like 2 years because of the way the titles were a year and a half or something like that, like for the length of Gunther's reign,
yeah.
essentially, because Seth has never lost his heavyweight title. Roman's title hasn't changed. Intercontinental hasn't changed. The only real singles title that's changed hands is the U.S. title.
The US title, which might be going to Logan Paul soon.
Ooh,
Natural segue. We're about to hit halftime. Very impressed with how I did that. I
that's
believe
very
that
good.
was three natural segues.
They call that a triple